Welcome everybody to a bit of advice. We're here on a Tuesday at 5:30 here in beautiful California, and I'm sitting here with some great advice from Vinny, and he's going to tell us what he does, a little bit about what he does, and we're going to go from there. So right now we have 100,000 likes on Facebook, and we are on successradio.org, and then we are also on Success Radio on the YouTube, and we're live on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook Live. I'm Joshua Birdsell, a young entrepreneur coming from Alabama, come out here to start my own business. And so I've had this show for going on 10 weeks now. Dennis started it a few months ago, and it's just been growing ever since. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to my wonderful guest, Vinny.
Hi, Joshua.
How are you doing today, Vinny?
Good,
so if
doing
you could
great.
Tell everybody how to pronounce your wonderful last name.
It's Disanza. It's
Okay.
Italian for extra special.
Oh, extra special. That is awesome. So tell us a little bit about SRA, what that means, and, what you do.
So SRA really doesn't mean anything. It's a designation I got for graduating from the Appraisal Institute, but this is kind of the running joke of the Appraisal Institute. The SRA doesn't actually mean anything. We'll call it a super residential appraiser, but really it's just a designation.
Super residential.
That's what we joke and call it.
That's pretty cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so how long have you been doing that?
I've been appraising for 15 years in this area.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in California, you've been doing this in California the whole time, correct?
The whole time. I came out to
Okay.
California. I was raised in Jersey, went to school in Virginia, and I met this beautiful woman who lived in Fallbrook. And we got married in the year 2000. And 2 years later, I started an appraisal career out here. California, I'm still acclimating. I'd never had an avocado before I came out. I'd never had a quesadilla. And I thought salsa was a very weird marinara sauce.
Oh, that's so funny. So before you were doing that, so you said you've been doing that, 15 years?
15 years.
So what
Yeah.
were you doing before that 15-year period?
I was a high-tech recruiter at a college down in San Diego,
Mhm.
or Carlsbad area, for a couple years until that market just blew up in everyone's face. And so I was, saw the writing on the wall. I got to find a different career, and residential appraisal kind of fit my nerdiness. So
So you enjoy doing that then, of course.
I do. I like it. I like that I'm not sitting behind a desk. No offense. I like sitting behind a desk all day, and I'm out meeting people. I see just about everything out there. I've seen it all.
Really? So so you said you lived in Virginia for a little while, huh?
Yeah, I went to school out in Southern Virginia University.
Southern Virginia. So where was that at in Virginia exactly?
That's it's actually closer to West Virginia. It's near Lexington.
Do you know where Cedar Bluff is?
I don't.
You don't? Okay, well I used to live out there for a little while, that's why I asked. So so what made you come all the way to California?
Beautiful woman.
Beautiful woman. So but I thought you said you met her in Fallbrook.
I met her in Virginia. She went to
Virginia.
school there
Oh,
for a
okay.
semester.
I got you.
It took me a while to get her to go out with me, but finally got her.
So before you were doing the SRA, so important, appraisal and rental, what kind of job field did you say you were in?
I was a high-tech recruiter, so
High-tech recruiter.
like filling really interesting positions for like Siemens Wireless and different telecom companies and different software vendors. San Diego's got a lot of high-tech companies, and so we'd find that left-handed widget maker, the specific job that they'll pay a lot of money to find that guy.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank everybody for joining us today. We have Nick, Derek, Chris, my mom, I see her on here, Lillian, Kim, Sylvia, Lisa, and Bethany. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to ask any questions, you can feel free to just comment below or on the sidebar and just let us know. Brittany Heitch, thanks for joining us. We just seen you join us. All right, so if you could go back in time to your old self, what would you say to your old self? Like, what would be a little piece of advice that you know now that you didn't know to your old self that you would tell yourself?
I would tell myself to don't eat so many donuts. They didn't have Krispy Kreme out on the East Coast. It's not my fault.
Oh man.
And yeah.
So that's the only thing that you would say. Don't eat so many donuts.
You know,
man?
I have a great life. Maybe it would be when to buy and when to sell. And I think to pick up some Apple stock. I think that might be
Pick up some apples.
that might have been some good advice.
So what's some advice on buy and sell
Well, the market is doing really well.
right
Like
now?
it's phenomenal.
Right now.
I just went to the Appraisal Institute class. We call it the Crystal Ball class. This is where the bigwigs get together, the PhD economists. We had the Norris group there. We have all builders there. So many people, and they speak about what's happening in the market. And we appraisers are nerds, and we just want data. So give us the data so we can figure out what's going on. And right now, the market is just doing tremendous. We have the lowest unemployment we've had since the Great Recession. I mean, we've just never had it this low. What's funny is 10 years ago, I think it was the highest it had ever been. So we've really had this phenomenal recovery in our country. The unemployment's low, job creation, the Inland Empire. A lot of people don't know this, but over 50% of all the retail in the Inland Empire is e-commerce.
And in the Inland Empire, you're referring to California and the Southern California area between Los Angeles and San Diego, correct?
Yeah,
Somewhere
a little bit
around
more inland
there.
than Los Angeles, but yeah, I mean around the San Bernardino area,
Yeah,
the
Riverside area.
Riverside area.
Okay.
I mean, they're saying that it's going to be the new port of Los Angeles. Think about all those big ships coming into
Mhm.
the port of Los Angeles, the busiest port I think in the entire nation.
Yeah.
And those super tankers can no longer get through the Panama Canal.
Wow.
The canal can't handle. And so we got March Air Force Base. We have we have airports out there, and they're just Amazon bought an entire plane. UPS
Wow.
just is building a 1 million square foot facility. Amazon literally owns 14 industrial buildings out there.
Wow.
I drove past one of them. It was a quarter-mile long. I mean,
cow.
like, I mean, that's your exercise for the day, is just walking from one end to the other a few times. And it's just the job creation going on in an empire is huge. And
So would you say it was a good time to get into real estate or a bad time to get into real estate? Because I know that I have met a lot of real estate agents out here in California, but I guess, I mean, as many houses as there are out here, and as many people that are looking for homes or looking to move out of their home. They've been here for 25 years and looking to move out of California, because that is what's going on right now. I've heard of a lot of people wanting to move out of the California area. So is that something it's helping your business?
all right, you brought up a few things. Let me start.
Okay.
Okay. First, let's talk about the people that are leaving California.
Okay.
This is true. People are leaving California in droves.
Yeah.
We have more people. It's like a mass exodus out of California. And the reason is because California really doesn't want you. The government doesn't want people here. Seriously. I mean, if you look at the taxation, they don't want businesses here at all. They make it difficult. Well, my business is tied here. I'm here. I love the weather.
Right.
I mean, my
Weather's
gosh, I
great.
have a buyers that are in escrow right now in Carlsbad. That is heaven. God lives in Carlsbad. Okay, so
It's
seriously,
beautiful in Carlsbad.
I love
That's
it.
where we go to the beach.
I mean, it's beautiful out there. That's no wonder people are, you know, they'll pay whatever. So all these people are leaving California. That's true. More people are leaving than are coming in.
Dennis says he's leaving for China.
Yeah, Dennis. Yeah, he's a traitor. He's out of here. Well, the truth of the matter is that we have so many people forming a household in California. That's what people don't realize. We have a vast undersupply of housing, and it is fueled by the formation of household. So kids they're getting married, they're having babies, they need a place to live, and where are they going to live? So they're looking for places to live. We got people graduating from our great universities out here. Where are they going to live?
Right.
They're getting jobs out here. Where are they going to live? And so they need housing. So our own economy, I mean, California is one of it's formidable as an entire economy. I mean, it's bigger than most countries.
Yeah.
So we have this huge economy, and we have a formation of household. So the demand for housing in California is huge. Forget how many people are leaving California. That's nothing. So many people are leaving California because there's so many people in California. Well, we still have massive demand. So we can't overlook that.
Right.
Now, what else did you talk about? You were talking
So
about the.
I was saying that people are getting out of California. A lot of people are moving, and then there's also people that are moving into California. People that have just seen the beaches, the pictures of the beaches, and seen the movies, and they want to come out here and experience that type of life. So they have a lot of people come out here and they don't realize it's tough out here. It is really tough. But I think if you go the right route and you can find a nice home in the Inland Empire, like it's not as expensive as it is in Carlsbad Beach. Now, of course, once you get
Right.
once you get to a position to where that you can afford something like that, maybe in retirement age. Carlsbad is a beautiful place to retire. I totally agree with that. But I think what we were talking about a little bit is just the people that are coming into California, people are going out, and things like that.
Yeah, like I said, there's huge demand here within California, just from within California. You know, there's such a demand for housing. Right now, we have a lot of housing starts that are rental properties. So
So
they're
people are buying and renting.
yeah, people are buying and renting. Well, the median income
Yeah.
doesn't support the median house price, and this is starting to become a nationwide problem. It is a big problem here. People who you have to get into real estate and get equity. So the idea is that you start paying off your house, and you yourself with your mortgage payments are paying off your house, and that's giving you equity. Plus, the market is going up.
Right.
I see no reason why the market will not continue to go up. All the statistics show that it will go up. A question I get asked a lot is this a bubble? Do we have a bubble right now? We are not in a bubble. There is no bubble. The ingredients that existed at the crash, only one of those ingredients is currently existing. And that is that the national average for a savings account is 3.1% of your income.
Wow.
So that means if you earn $100,000 a year, you have $3,100 in the bank account, in your savings account. That's pretty low.
Yeah.
Almost as low as when we had the crash. But back then, people were using their home equity lines of credit to pay their mortgages. I mean, your cat could get a mortgage. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, now people aren't taking equity out of their houses. We've got an ocean of equity out there. We have people who are gainfully employed. We have high employment.
Yes.
It's good. Now the interest rates have gone up a bit, which have made houses more expensive without raising the prices.
Right.
But I mean,
is it hard to sell homes in California? I see that question.
No. I mean, I'll prove it. The average days on market right now in let's see, we're in Temecula, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the average days on market is about 30.
Really?
For an average tract home. 30 days or less.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are going down to 20. You go out to Hemet, you're at about 2 weeks, 14 days.
Wow.
To sell a house.
And they're cheap out there in Hemet because that I've seen them out there for, God, like almost 220 or 250,000 to 300,000. Out there in Hemet, Wildomar, those areas that it's affordable out there. Especially I've seen a lot of retired people out there, especially in Hemet, and there's a lot of crime there though. That's it's kind of like you got to give and take a little bit because you get what you pay for. If you're going to be in a little bit more of a crime area, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. Or in Hemet's case, it smells like a cow butthole, so so you kind of live with a little bit of that too.
Well, you're gonna have to be careful there because I mean, even Corona, East Vale was built on a dairy farm. And,
yeah.
I'm from New Jersey, so I lived right next to farms, and some of us just don't mind that.
But some
we
people
like
do
the smell of nature, but a lot of San Jacinto is near dairy farms, and especially northern Hemet. They have a lot of dirt out there. Banning and Beaumont is having a lot of expenditure, and the local governments are making it easy for builders to come in and build. They've got the transportation system going into LA now. I mean, even from Paris, they have a big station. You can literally hop on the train in Paris and be at LA in no time.
Yeah, no.
So now LA money can go to Paris.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty mind-boggling.
Yeah, and then traffic's always kind of heavy heading up that way, so a train might not seem so bad until you have to get a few of them. But LA is definitely it's crazy. So I mean, If you could go back in time, like let's say before real estate and everything, if you could go back in time and change anything to get yourself ahead where you're at now, what would you change? Is there anything that you would change?
Well, I mean, if I were to jump in a DeLorean and go 88 miles
There
an
you
hour,
go.
the problem is that I met my wife in college.
Hmm.
So I can't go back before then.
Right.
Okay, so it has to be after that.
Okay.
And I kind of made the best choices that I could. I mean, I would have liked to have gotten an advanced degree. I tried to go back to school after I was married. I came out here to be a high school English teacher.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
So did you get to do that at all?
No, because California, I mean, to be a teacher out here, I would have had to go back to school full time for 2 years just to get a job earning $35,000
Yeah, so I
a
was
year.
about to say, I'm
Like
like
I couldn't pay back my
$35,000.
student loans. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
like this doesn't make sense. I already had my 4-year degree, but there's just so much that's required to be a teacher that wasn't integrated into my program in Virginia.
Right.
So it didn't make sense for me. I couldn't do it.
So what was the transition from coming out here to be an English teacher to being a real estate agent?
So like I said, I was a high tech recruiter
Yeah.
for a while. I had got a temp job and I liked it, and they hired me, and I worked for National Search Associates down in Carlsbad. They're one of the best. I learned a lot there, and I met a friend at actually church who was an appraiser, and we talked about it.
Okay.
And I'm like, I need to change my career, and it seemed to fit with everything I like to do. See, most real estate agents are not appraisers.
Right.
There's only 3 real estate agents in this entire area that are SRA designated appraisers as well.
So you go in and what exactly would you do whenever you see a home? Like you just go in and you appraise it? Like would you tell them that where there's damage or?
Well, I mean, being an appraiser makes me a really good agent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to be boastful. It's just
Right.
that I know a lot of stuff
Right.
that agents don't know because they didn't go to school for that.
Right.
So when I appraise houses, I can't tell you how many houses I appraise for banks that are worth more than they sell for. And that's just straight up. I just did one the other day. It's seriously undersold. I can't tell the customer.
Right.
It's confidential for the client.
Right.
The seller will never find out.
Right.
You know, unless the buyer does nah, 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 nah.
Exactly.
You know, this house was actually worth a lot more. Okay, so here's an example. I had a buyer here in Murrieta a few years ago, and I measure all my houses. People measure your houses. So many real estate agents, they don't measure the house.
Wow.
I mean, this house was 600 square feet bigger than was recorded.
Wow.
If you want a job where you can make as many mistakes as you want and never be held accountable, you can work for the County of Riverside's Public Records Department. That's the truth. It doesn't matter. And agents just write down whatever the county says. This house is 3,000 square feet. Well, it's not. This house was 3,600 square feet.
Wow. That's a big
And
difference.
so, yeah, so I was able to tell the buyers, you know, buy it. And then I was able to negotiate a killer deal by, actually, I even talked to their appraiser, found an irrigation problem. And, you know, I must read 20 contracts a month.
Wow.
Just in transactions. I learned from a lot of the really great agents out there just from appraising their deals. I get to see how their negotiations went.
And so you said there's only 3 here in the area, correct? That are
There-
appraisers.
Yeah.
And you're one of them.
Yeah.
So one of 3.
There are only 3 that.
But so that knowledge, does that help you sell the houses or knowing that stuff, or does it help you in the process make more money?
Being an SRA appraiser and an agent helps me in that it's easier for me. I just know my job better. That's why I can really provide more for my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of great agents out there that I work with that are not appraisers.
Right.
Every day I do free consulting while I drive. I'm never listening to music or anyone. I just am on the phone all the time when I drive. I get phone calls. Agents all over just call me and ask me about their house and, you know, different things about the house that they're going to list. I will not list a house without an appraisal. Period. anyone listening, do not list a house. Don't sell your house without getting an appraisal on it first. I can't believe people even do that. Most agents just want to sell a house. They want to put a deal together. They work for the deal. They don't work for you as the buyer. They don't work for you as the seller. They work to put a deal together. Sometimes that deal favors one side over the other.
So what would be your recommendation to getting ready to sell your house? Like, what is there like a checklist, like a small little checklist of things that you would do that are really important that you see on a daily basis that people don't do before listing their home?
Yes. So you definitely want to make your house showable. Showing a house is really important.
So window cleaning,
Definitely have
screen
window
repair,
cleaning. Yes,
screen
definitely.
repair. Screens have to be repaired, correct? You can call me for that, just in case anybody didn't know. But go ahead.
But really, the most important things to do is get the house priced right and get it photographed properly. Nowadays, people are not going to come look at that house until they've seen it online and seen the photos. Why do some of these agents use their cell phone to take pictures of a $500,000 house?
Yeah.
The agent's getting paid $15,000 in a commission, and they're shooting the pictures on a cell phone. So get a professional photographer to come out. Make sure you interview your agents. Get an agent with a really good photographer, and interview your agent. Make sure you have an agent that you trust.
I have seen that being a problem. People get a real estate agent and they'll flake out on them, or they don't do them right. They don't explain the details of what's going on when you're going to sell a house. A lot of times I have seen that. I've actually experienced that myself. So selling my brother's house. But I think that is really important. It's good that you point that out. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think the important things are ask your agent who their transaction coordinator is. If they don't have one, some agents can do it themselves, but there's a lot of moving parts in escrow. I have a great transaction coordinator. Her name is Angelina Diaz. You rock, Angelina. She's the best. She's awesome. And I can't do my job without her. So I really appreciate it. And she does a lot to make sure that everything goes smoothly. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts in an escrow. So you got to make sure you have good home inspectors. You got to make sure you have good termite inspectors. I put together a team to provide the best service. But really, you've got to get that house appraised. You got to know what's going on in your market. There are even sub-markets. Like there's an area of French Valley right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got a message. It was on Murrieta Talk. That's a Facebook page, right?
Yeah, I'm on there. I got you.
Okay, so this lady says, why isn't my house selling? It's been on the market for however long, or way longer than typical. It's a beautiful house. Why isn't it selling? And some people are like, oh, your kitchen color is a weird color, whatever. So I took a second and I looked at it. I knew right what was going on. You have an absorption problem. In that specific area of French Valley, there is way too many listings for that market. It just happened to be that way.
So would they list it in another area maybe, or what would you do to fix that?
You have to lower the price.
Oh,
that's the thing.
Okay.
So what we had was a listing agent who's out of the area. She's in San Diego. That's called poaching. Okay, so she's coming up from San Diego. Now, bless her heart, she's nice. She's very nice. I talked to her. She's nice. The seller is a relative of hers. So she's doing a really discounted listing. The problem is that she doesn't know the local area. So she's not providing them a service there. And the days on market keeps ticking up and ticking up.
Right.
And what you need to do is analyze the inventory and what's going on. A lot of real estate is math. It's math. It's algebra. You've got to do the work. You have to look at the statistics.
That makes so much sense. So we're coming up close to the end of our show. I know it came up pretty quick. It always does. So if you could give us one piece of advice as kind of like your golden nugget, man, like something that you've learned that you kind of hold dear to your heart that you could tell our audience of young entrepreneurs. And there's a lot of people, I'm sure, that are going to be real estate agents that are watching our show right now, that are young and they're up and coming, and so they're figuring out what they want to do with their life, and they watch the show. So is there any advice that you can give to them that you've learned?
Don't compromise principles. ever. Don't ever compromise principles. It will get you nowhere. Um, I have seen people who have compromised their principles. It doesn't work.
What do you mean with that? By that?
I was offered a bribe by a broker,
Mhm.
like as an appraiser. I was like, are you kidding me? No. You know, like I get offered bribes. Don't compromise your principles. Don't lie. Don't puff. It's called puffing in a listing where you exaggerate about a house. Don't pretend or
Don't flex.
don't be like a con man, you
Don't act
know.
like you got all these muscles. Don't flex.
Just, you know, people like to be genuine and whatever you're going to do, just do it well. Just get as educated as you can in it and do the best you can at it. Like, I mean, you can be wealthy and you can make tons of money being an auto mechanic.
Right.
Just do your job really well.
Yeah. Do the best of your ability.
Just do it the best. I mean, my gosh, I was just talking to a friend of mine. Her brother worked at a wetsuit company. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I could do this. And he bought it. And he ran, and he does so well with it. I mean, like, it's great. I mean, you can just go really far. Just do what you do and do it well.
That is so awesome.
Do it right.
Like I feel like I could take that. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I could take that and run with it as well, man. Because I just started my own, like I said, you know, window cleaning, and I worked for somebody before that, and I just took it and did a little something different and went down on my prices a little bit, you know. But I have that from Alabama, so that's always a good conversation starter for all of my customers, and I try to make sure that I give them the best service, the best quality. You know, call me if you need anything. You know, I try to check up on them every couple of weeks to make sure, you know, see how they're doing. So yeah, that really, you know, that's really good advice. I can totally relate to that and say that, yeah, that does work. You know, if you really are good at what you do and you put a lot of passion, a lot of time into it, eventually it pays off.
Especially when you're in a customer-based industry. Yes. Like, I'm sure that you have customers that just call you residually.
Yes.
And that's just how it's going to work.
Yes.
People like you, they're just going to keep working with you, and you're just going to get more and more customers.
And it's a blessing. It really is. And it's really awesome to be out here in California, but it's not easy, you know. It's not easy in anybody's shoes. I do want to say that because I know this week I've noticed a lot of people on Facebook, you know, kind of having some negative vibes going on this week. So I just wanted to let everybody know that, you know, stay true to yourself. Be yourself all the time, no matter what. Don't let nobody change you, and stick to what you want to do. Stick to your passion, what you're good at, because you might be good at something that somebody else is not good at. And you can take that and run with it and make a business out of it and be very, very successful and be an entrepreneur like most people are becoming nowadays. Most people don't want to work for somebody else because it's hard to deal with, and you're not getting paid very much. So why not be the boss? But you have to, you know, put your foot in front, and you have to take each step. Sometimes that's baby steps, and sometimes it's big steps, but you always have to take those steps in order to get to where you're comfortable and where you feel like you're successful, and you can have a lot more positive vibes in your life. So push the negative away, bring the positive vibes, and we will see you next week on a bit of advice. Thank you so much for your time, Vinny, today. It's been awesome. Got some really good advice from you today.
Thank you. Is there a mic I can drop?
Oh, man. I don't know, man. Mics are kind of expensive out here. We'll just do this.
All right. I'll catch you later.
All right. Thanks, everybody.